I think probably two things. One, maintain the standard, because our reputation, I think, depends upon the calibre of the people within the company. Don't try to do too much. I think perhaps we are trying to do too much now. And that creates all sorts of problems. Communicate with the members. The one thing I didn't mention, that the Marketor was introduced in my year, and communications are never as good as you would like them to be. But communications are very important. When we did our survey, members said, I want to get to know other members better. And then finally, I think, the culture of care. If we can have members feeling that I'm coming to a meeting, I don't mind who the speaker is, I'm coming because I want to meet my friends. And not only that, if tragedy strikes, I can turn to my livery company for help and advice. Not necessarily for financial help, but just for help to enable me to get over a tragedy. I think they're probably the main things, although perhaps I should say that I think most masters perhaps will know what they should do, and I hesitate to give advice actually, but I suppose in this life one can say benefit from my mistakes.
I would say that always look back and see what's gone before. Learn from it, because you can learn an awful lot. Recent events have showed us that if we had just thought a little bit more about what's been going on in the past, that would have been a tremendous help in judging and acting on things that we've got to do in the future. I think having a plan, but don't try and emulate the Mercers, the big companies, because you'll never have that sort of wealth. I mean, some of those great Lord Mayors have donated so much to charity. The value of their halls, the value of the ground in the city, and the schools they support, the hospitals they support. I mean, I know today that Dick Whittington's will is still being administered by the Mercers Company. Now, that was in the 15th, 16th century.
You have to go for talent and intellectual power rather than for financial birth.
I think one's got to be a little bit careful about that. But I think the livery's got a great deal to offer. I think it's important it doesn't go and overstretch itself. That's the important thing, and do learn from the previous ones. And I go back to what I said earlier about Eric Morgan. What a great master he was. What an example he set. And if one only says to coming masters, don't try and outdo your predecessor. Just try and emulate those that have done very well for the company. I think it's terribly important that you don't try and set a new standard every year, because you can't do it.
Right. Well, I think the first thing is I avoided too many committees. I wanted to keep committees to a minimum. I wanted to also involve as many members as possible. So I had task forces. And I think it's much more important to have the task forces and a limited number of committees. That's one thing. The other thing is, if you've got too many events, people can't afford to attend them. I admire the way the company as it is has had some fantastic events. Visits to Big Ben, for example, or the Elizabeth Towers, as now called, which you couldn't normally do. I thought that was great. So I think that's important. The other thing I would concentrate on is trying to get as many top marketing professionals into the company. Watch the balance between consultants and marketing professionals. Marketing professionals, people in top marketing jobs in companies, they have money because they're earning a lot of money, and their companies have money And that's also very handy when you're trying to do different things.
Don't try and change everything every year. Try and maintain the best of our short past and embrace, obviously, the best of the future. But I think to try and turn ourselves inside out every 3 or 4 years doesn't actually help. And I think we can evolve and change, and we have, naturally. Evolution rather than revolution.
If you get the opportunity, join the Marketors and contribute as much as you possibly can, because it's an organisation well worth supporting.